Finally, Coos has come back to West Virginia. Hang tight. I'll give you my thoughts on Art Briles being hired as offensive coordinator at Grambling State. What is up, college sports fans, fellow members of Mountaineer Nation? This is Coos. I'm back in the hills of wild and wonderful West Virginia, serving up more college football content to you, and yes, even a little college basketball. And if you're new around here, you're asking, what in the world was that at the beginning of this video? I'm glad you asked. Just trying to have a little bit of fun. The ones that are around here on a regular basis knows that I was out of town all last week. I was actually in Las Vegas while my wife was doing a little bit of training. I went along with her. Didn't have my microphone and my normal setup, but I'm back now in my studio with my mic, my normal background, my setup, the whole bit. But what I want to talk about is the news about Art Briles getting hired to be offensive coordinator at Grambling State. I want to give you some news updates on that have come out recently and also give you my opinion on the whole situation. First of all, I'm sure most of you, it's been in the news several days now. I'm sure most of you have already heard it. And most of you have probably heard a lot of the criticism coming from the media members and also, most notably, from Grambling State alum and arguably the most famous Grambling State alum, Doug Williams, Super Bowl winning quarterback from the Redskins, who also once coached at Grambling State. He is not happy with this hire and says he likely will not support the program because of it. But Coach Hue Jackson, who decided to hire Art Briles, is defending it. And he actually recently put out a statement defending the hire, talked about how Art Briles deserves forgiveness and a second chance. And I'm going to read you just a portion of this statement. Now, ironically, this statement was not put out on a Grambling State letterhead. It was put out on a letterhead. It was put out on a Hue Jackson Foundation letterhead, which is Hue Jackson's nonprofit organization. But here's part of the statement. The Hue Jackson Foundation has been dedicated to fighting against all forms of sexual abuse and exploitation, as well as other forms of racial and social bias. We have a clear understanding of the role that coaches and others who have a position of trust play in the lives of those they meet. We also know and understand the process of identifying risks, helping others to heal, and the importance of prevention. We believe that through the hiring of Coach Briles and the well-developed programs we have in place, this hire will be instrumental in teaching others the importance of knowing how to prevent victimization, proper reporting procedures, provide adequate resources to individuals who have been victimized, and develop strong law enforcement partnerships within the community. End quote. Now, that's not all the statement. That's just a part of it. But I just wanted to kind of give you an idea of what his statement was about and what it said. But I find the part that he put it on his Hue Jackson Foundation letterhead ironic. And what's even more ironic is the fact that Grambling State came and put a statement out right after this saying that they are a separate entity from the Hue Jackson Foundation. So it's almost like they're distancing themselves from this statement, which I find a little weird, to be honest, because they had to approve the hire. The other thing that's noteworthy news is the fact that, according to a report by Sports Illustrated and others, and I'll post links to the reports I'm using for this video where I'm getting my information. I'll post links to that in the description box. But even though the school has decided to hire Briles, it's not a 100% done deal yet. Grambling State is part of a 9-university system called the University of Louisiana System. And the board, the 16-member board of that system, has to vote and approve this hire. They have to vote and approve any hire done by any of the schools. They don't meet again until April the 28th. Now, sources within that system have told Sports Illustrated and others that they have never voted against a coach being hired in any of the schools before. However, this is a unique circumstance because of all the controversy around it and because of Briles' past and etc. So they will likely look at this with a lot more scrutiny than they typically do a football coach hire. And what's another piece of information that I find telling, and I think the Briles hire may get voted down by this board, and here's why. This board recently strengthened their rules against not reporting Title IX violations. Think about that for a minute. That's exactly what Art Briles got in trouble for at Baylor, was not reporting extreme Title IX violations of rape and sexual misconduct. How can this board it would be inconsistent for this board to hire Art Briles, in my opinion, after strengthening the rules on that stuff. Now, obviously, I guess I just kind of spilled the beans on my opinion. I don't think it's a good idea for them to hire Art Briles. Now, I'm not against Art Briles getting a second chance at some point. I'm not against retribution, forgiveness, any of that stuff. I do think people need to be forgiven. Art Briles is not the one who allegedly raped these girls. Now, what he did was bad. He should have reported it. The NCAA found that he did not report it on apparently multiple occasions. He failed to do his job as somebody who was in a leadership position, and he should deserve to be punished, and he was and still is being punished. However, I do not think it's wise for Grambling State or any other institution right now, especially at the college level, to hire Art Briles. At least not now, because the dust has not settled on this thing. These allegations only occurred 5 years ago. There are still court cases pending on it. It's still fresh in a lot of people's minds, especially the alleged victims. So I just think it's a terrible idea. It's potential career suicide for Hue Jackson and the AD and any others that approve it. Because if Doug Williams is mad about it, you can imagine there's probably other Grambling supporters who are mad about it. They could lose donors. They could lose a lot of money that gets funneled into that program, to that school. Heck, not only the football program, but the school as a whole. That school could lose funding, but from certain sources. So I just think it's a really, really risky move. There are so many other offensive coordinators out there they could hire. I just think this is way too risky for Grambling State. And also, I think they are just totally oblivious to what went on and what has been going on at the University of Louisiana System with their tightening of the Title IX rules. And also, heck, look what just happened a year or two ago at LSU. Even though LSU is not part of that 9-school system, it's still in the state of Louisiana, and they're still, it still made national news. The sexual allegations against Les Miles and others, potentially others within LSU for hiding sexual misconduct. And I just think it's a huge, huge blind spot here for Hue Jackson and Grambling State in this situation. And then last but not least, one of the things Hue Jackson talked about in his statement, which I didn't read this part of his statement to you, but he talked about how victims can be re-victimized by rekindling all this stuff and bringing it up. Well, Hue Jackson, who's the one who decided to hire Art Briles, man? If anybody is causing re-victimization here, it's Hue Jackson and Grambling State. Not us by talking about it. It's you for hiring the guy in the first place. I understand he could be Hue Jackson's personal friend. That's fine. I don't have a problem with that. But you don't need to bring him onto that Grambling State campus. To me, it sends a bad message to the female students on this campus that they care more about winning football games than they do the safety of the female students. I just think it's a terrible, terrible PR move. And not only a terrible PR move, I just think it's a bad move, period. Forgiving Art Briles is one thing, but actually bringing him on campus and making him part of the staff, to me, is almost a slap in the face to those female alleged victims from his days at Baylor. I just think it's a slap to their face. I really do. Maybe you may disagree with me, and if you do, that's fine. Let me know in the comment section. I welcome all opinions here. I want to hear in the comment section. I do want to hear your opinions. If you agree, disagree with me, whatever. Let me know what you think. Should Grambling State have hired Art Briles, or should they not have? Do you think it's a terrible move on their part, and why? I want to hear your opinion on why. And also, do you think the board will approve his hiring when they meet on April 28th? You can support me financially through Patreon, through joining Couz's Corner by hitting the join button underneath this video. That's another way you can join. There's perks that go along with joining through either of those avenues. You can hit the links in the description box to make purchases on Fanatics or on Amazon. You can you can gamble on BetUS website or bet on your next game through the BetUS site using my link. I'll get commission from that. There's a lot of ways you can help me out that don't cost you a thing. We all do Amazon shopping. Most of us do anyway. If you use my link, get you to the Amazon site, and anything you buy if you go on the site through my link, anything you buy, I'll get a little commission for. It doesn't cost you any extra. You don't have to pay any extra to buy the item or anything else. All it does is show Amazon that you got the link from me and that you heard about it through me, and then they reward me with a very small commission. That's it. Doesn't cost you a thing, but it helps me out. It'll help me grow my channel. But anyway, I appreciate everybody joining me, tuning in. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Don't forget to like and subscribe. If you like the video, give me the like button. If you also, please don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you haven't yet, and if you like this kind of content. I appreciate you tuning in. And as always, Q Country Roads.